everybody, it's me. I just wanted to pop on here and tell you a story time today. I will say that this is going to be a trigger warning up front. It is kind of a heavy subject. If you are triggered by talking about trauma or emotional abuse, verbal abuse, things of that nature, blackmail, I would suggest skipping this video. I'm not going to be editing any of this, so there will be weird pauses, and it's probably just me processing internally what I want to say. But also bear with me, bear with the sound. It's not the greatest today, but I did want to come on here and film. I actually just dyed my hair. As you can see, it's a raspberry kind of magenta-y color, and I'm really obsessed with it. I also just dyed my extensions, and they're not perfect, but I will say I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. It took me forever to do these, so please appreciate, please like, okay? I will try to keep this as lighthearted as possible. However, I did want to come on here and start sharing story times with you guys because I feel personally that everything that I've been through has made me who I am today, and I'm not going to let my past define who I am. I'm just not. I've done that for a long time. I've found myself reflecting on the past a lot, and at this stage of my life, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm breaking a lot of those toxic cycles. This is something that I carried with me for well over 10 years that really, really hurt. And I just wanted to share it with you guys, hopefully to encourage you and let you know that time helps a lot. I know they say time heals all wounds, but I guess it also depends on what kind of wound it is. But it does get better. I promise you that. There were times where I genuinely thought that that was my lowest point, and I've grown so much since then. So I want to share this with you. Hopefully it will inspire some of you. If this isn't for you, I'll see you in the next video. No hard feelings. I just want to be transparent with you about things that I've gone through and start doing story times. So I thought, why not share the most wonderfully trauma-ridden one? Like, why would you start with that, Hannah? Okay, whatever. So I'm just gonna be brushing out my extensions. I've got my straightener here and my flat iron protector stuff, hair protector, heat protectant. Words are hard, okay? Words are hard. After working on this hair for like way too long. I don't even know if I want to tell you how long I worked on this hair. It was insane. Okay. Anyway, let's get into it. Also, I wanted to say that I will not be saying names. Thank you, loud truck. Thank you. I live right next to the road, and I swear it's like anytime I'm filming, somebody with a big loud truck has to go by every single time. Anyway, so yeah, this took me incredibly way too long. I will not be saying names because it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's the past. I want to leave that in the past. This happened when I was probably, around 12 or 13. And I don't know what happened to this person. I don't know where they live. I don't know what they do. I don't know if they have a family. Like, I'm not trying to cause harm to anybody. I don't want to slander anybody's name. That's not why I'm telling the story. I just genuinely want to tell this story and be open about it. And to be honest with you, I am a little nervous to post this just because I don't want any backlash or hate towards this person. They could be a completely new person now. They could have a family and be doing really well for themselves. They could have really changed their life around. I don't want to make any assumptions, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings by making this. So yeah, there's that. So, are you sure you want to watch this? Oh my gosh. Okay. So I will start when I was probably in, I would say 7th grade, 8th grade. I had a huge crush on this person, and I had known this person for quite a while, but at the time, before that, I never found this person attractive. I didn't know too much about them. I just don't mind the steam. I don't even know if you can see it on there or not. It's not my real head, okay? Chill. And also, it's not your hair, so don't worry about it. I don't know why I'm so sassy today. Basically, I never had an interest in this person. I don't know. I never saw them like that until they did something different with their appearance. And the people that know this story are already going to understand exactly who this is. Please just, let's not go there, okay? I really don't want to. Just for the sake of being anonymous, like, please. They changed their appearance. Little 13-year-old me found that super attractive. And I was a scene girl, emo girl, whatever you want to call it. At least I thought I was. I thought it was really cool. I recently got my pictures back from my old Razr phone, and I'll let everybody else be the judge of that. Maybe I can impose a picture, superimpose later on, but I didn't have very high self-esteem. I thought I was cool, but I also was very introverted. I had friends, and I had a lot of friends that were in different groups, but I was still very shy. I was backward. I was very naive. And I didn't know a lot about, like, I think that's around the time we started learning about, like, sex ed and stuff like that. Well, I didn't obviously know very much. I'm 13 years old. I don't know what's happening, you know? I know the basics, and I also know that, you know, all of us laughed the entire time during sex ed, so, like, half of us were really only paying attention. And I remember, like, finding this person attractive, and I'm like, this person's never been on my radar before now as an attractive person. I never thought of them in a romantic way, right? But for whatever reason, I'm like, this is it. Like, this, I don't know, I'm attracted, right? So, I started talking more to this person. I started flirting. Thank you, Winnie. Thank you. This is why I can't have nice things. Between Winnie and the cars outside. I don't know. Anyway, if you hear scratching, I'm sorry. Please bear with me. So I'm flirting, right? I'm like trying to get all cute and like do my hair all emo-like and heavy on the black eyeliner and just all of that, right? So I decide that I'm gonna try and put myself out there, and I do. And I don't even know, I think we exchanged numbers or something. This person was very already much into me, but I had never found them attractive. Guess I should have went with my old past self and that intuition that I had. But I went with it, and we started texting, and things got very very serious very quickly. And I, once again, had very low self-esteem. And so I valued that this person wanted to be with me, saw me for me, liked who I was, liked the way I dressed, liked to sing music. I mean, we did have a lot in common. I will say that. We did have mutual friends. So to me, it was like the package deal. Like everything made sense in my head. And so I just felt like things got very serious very quickly. But as a 13-year-old, you don't really understand what that means, because I'd never really had a relationship like that serious prior to that. I'm a kid, right? So I start texting more and more with this person, and we start hanging out after school, and very quickly we start doing things that we shouldn't be doing at 13 years old. And I'm lying to my parents and telling them that we're just hanging out, when in fact we are not just hanging out. And it got to the point of, I felt as though with the way that things were said during this relationship, that I owed this person myself and my body in exchange for their love and their support and the whole relationship in itself. Like, I felt as though I owed them. Now, mind you, I'm 13. This is like the first person I've really been with, and I'm thinking this is how all relationships go, right? No. No. First of all, most teens are like meeting up outside of school on like the basketball court or something, you know? Like, my parents trusted me enough to go over to their house and hang out, but we were not supervised. And that obviously led to inappropriate teenage things. I don't want to go into much detail about that, because there are some things that still trigger me from that. But anyway, I felt like I owed this person. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this person loves me. And as if I knew what love meant then, but I digress. So we start talking more, texting more, writing more notes back and forth. This person starts to get kind of pushy with me, as in they want more from me sexually. And I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know, like this, like inside I was like, this doesn't feel right. I don't know if I can go through with this, but I really wanted them to like me. I really wanted them to love me. And I just wanted to be seen. And I felt like this person really saw me. Looking back now, I realize how manipulative it was, and how obsessive and creepy and narcissistic this person was. And like I said, I hope they've grown from this. But I know that even after we had broken up, there had been several other girls that had went through similar things that I did, or even worse. I'm talking like physical abuse. And I realized that could have been me. I didn't know that obviously until years later, when I was in high school. But yeah, so this person and I were still going pretty heavy on hanging out after school, doing inappropriate things, not telling anybody else. I stopped talking to my parents about things. I stopped sharing things. My attitude changed. The closeness that I shared with my parents, I did not have at this time. And so I stopped telling them things. And at this point, it was around Christmas time, and I felt like this person really, really loves me and cares about me. So I guess I should, like, basically exchange my body and go all the way for what I thought was love, what I thought was validation. And it took me a little while to talk myself into it. Actually, no. Really, I didn't talk myself into it. He did. He talked me into it. And I was not ready. I wanted to save myself. I understand that it takes two people, obviously, to have sex. I am just as guilty. I went through with it. I will say that there were many times after the initial time that I felt like I owed this person, and so I just sort of let it happen. Looking back, was that technically the R word? I guess you could say that. I just wanted to be wanted. And for any of you youngins out there watching this, seriously, like, really, really think about it. Like, really, really think about things before you do something, because it can change your life. I was very fortunate that I did not get pregnant by this person, because that really would have changed my life. And I don't think it would have been for the better. Especially being with that person and having to raise a child with that person. I was very lucky in that sense that that didn't happen. But anyway, so I still continue to see this person. I hid what I was doing from my parents and from my friends. And honestly, I kind of lost touch with a lot of my friends because this person tried to isolate me. There were just a lot of verbal things that were implied that he did not trust my friends because I had recently come out as bisexual, and I was still trying to figure myself out, and he did not trust that. He did not trust me along with my friends. And so I started to distance myself from them, which is never a good thing. That's a huge red flag. I don't care what kind of relationship you're in. If you start distancing yourself from your friends and family or just loved ones, whatever, like, that is a huge concern. Don't take that lightly. That is a huge red flag. Because people like that want to isolate you so that they have more control over you. It's all about power and control. I didn't learn those things until later in life. And when I started learning those things, I really started having a lot of triggers, a lot of anxiety, and panic attacks. Because it started to make sense to me, what I had gone through. As a 13-year-old, you still have so much growing to do. You still have so much maturing to do. Your brain hasn't fully developed yet. Like, your frontal lobe's not fully developed. So I guess I just, the way that I dealt with the pain and the trauma that I went through was to compartmentalize it in my brain. Thank you, cars. Ka-chow. I can't believe I just said ka-chow. Anyway. Oh my God, Hannah. Okay. So that's another thing, is when I talk about heavy subjects, I like to make little jokes because it helps me. It's a coping mechanism that I've learned. It's maybe not always the best timing, but it helps me feel better. Anyway, So, back to that time, I came home from school one day. My dad picked me up, and he noticed that I had a hickey on my neck. And I was always very careful to cover those things, but I guess I didn't cover that well enough. And he noticed it and asked me about it. And I told him, I don't know what it is. I think I made up something, maybe burnt myself with my curling iron or straightener or something, whatever. And of course, he didn't believe it. I mean, why would you? I'm 13, I have a boyfriend, I'm going over to their house. Who's really gonna believe that? Okay. But I thought I got away with it, right? Later on, my parents found out what was happening. I finally caved and told them because I felt really guilty. Because I had such a good relationship with my parents that when all that stuff happened, I started to have a lot of guilt inside because I felt like I had to still be fully 100% with my partner, and I couldn't tell my parents these kinds of things because that would damage our relationship, or they would no longer trust me. When I say they, I'm talking about this person. Sometime after that, I would say several months, I think it was starting to be springtime, because in the wintertime is when I had lost my virginity. And it just, we just continued to do things and progress, and I was pressured into more things that I didn't want to do necessarily, but I felt like I owed this person. And so these things continue to happen. I can't really go into much detail because I honestly blacked out a lot of it, and there's still a lot of missing pieces there for me. I don't remember, but it's probably for the best. And so that happened. And then in the springtime, I remember, I'm going to say, I don't even know what month it was, but I think we were coming up on like maybe a year of dating. And that's when my parents had found out my dad had seen the hickey. Like, they started putting two and two together. And I spilled the beans because I was very emotional. I felt guilty. And I decided to finally tell them what was going on. And I was so ashamed. I felt so much guilt. And they reassured me that things would be okay, but that I could no longer see this person. And that shook up my entire world, because for the last year, this is a life that I thought I was going to live now. Like, this is the path that I thought my life would continue on with, which, thank you, God. I'm so glad it didn't. But I really did think that that was going to continue. And so my world was flipped upside down. I didn't know how to handle it. I was already very depressed at that time in my life. And I was already going through things, not only with like puberty, but also depression from other things going on in my life. And I don't think I realized that I had depression or anxiety yet. I didn't know what that meant. I just knew I was sad a lot. And around that time, I had started self-harming. And I won't go into details about that, but I did. And my parents took me to see a counselor and to talk to them about what I was feeling and experiencing and why I was doing this to myself. And my partner, who I thought was supposed to love me and cherish me and take care of me, didn't really care that I was doing it, and would also sometimes lie about how they were doing it too, which obviously fueled the fire for me to make me want to continue to do it And they would lie about them doing it, or like basically like they were doing it more than I was, so that it made me feel like I should do it more. I don't know. It was very messed up. And sorry, it starts to get a little fuzzy there. I just know my parents found out, they put me in counseling, I could no longer see this person, and I was a mess. I was a mess. I didn't know what to do with my life. I was embarrassed. I felt like I had fallen apart from my friends, and I didn't know if they even still wanted anything to do with me because I pushed them away. And it was just a really hard time. Excuse me. And so I was getting ready to go into high school, and I'm going to pause this because I'm going to take a drink and I need to get a hair clip. I forgot that I need one, so I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. For you, that was just a second, but for me, that was like a few minutes. I'm just sectioning off my hair so that I can put these clip-in extensions in. Don't mind my little funky look while I do this. Also the dye on my forehead. Like I said, I just dyed my hair today. So, anywho, where did I leave off? Okay, so I had already told my parents knew, I couldn't see him anymore, and I was a mess. And that was when the blackmail started. So it was around that time that if I was to tell my parents more of what happened or go into detail, this person had pictures of me, and they said that if I told what was going on between us, that they would leak these pictures. They also stalked my my MySpace, and found my login information and got on it, deleted all the pictures I had of my friends and my family, which I've tried to get on there and look and see. I can see some of my friends' profiles, but it's been updated so much that it's really hard to actually view that kind of stuff anymore. But even still, like even just a few years after that, I couldn't get on there. None of my stuff was on there. It was really, really devastating for me because those pictures are something that I can't ever get back now. And honestly, I don't even really know what I had on there. And I like to look at those things. And so it was pretty devastating. I struggled a lot with that because, well, first of all, somebody is threatening me that they're going to send out pictures of me, which is really terrifying. But also the fact that I can't get on any of my socials anymore. Pretty sure they also got on some other socials or something too. I don't remember. It's been too long now, but I was very scared about this person sending out pictures that I had taken. That was another thing. They had requested that I sent them pictures, and me feeling like I owed them because I really felt like they had this savior mentality. And I felt like I owed this person those pictures of me because I wanted them to know that I was loyal, that I'd do anything for them, because that's the kind of person I am. And I always have been. Like, I would do anything for anybody. But, of course, that's not okay. And also, I have grown a lot, and I know that people pleasing is not a good thing, especially when it's all the time. But that's something I've really had to work through in therapy. And I get into high school, and this person starts dating this new girl and rubbing it in my face. I'm completely alone. I'm devastated. I have some friends, but I'm in a new school. This is a high school now, not in middle school. I don't really know what I'm doing yet. There's just a lot of things that I'm trying to learn. This is a whole new era for me. And I'm really sad because I just lost this person that I thought was supposed to be my forever. That's what I thought. And yeah, so I remember freshman year was kind of a blur for me. I started getting a lot closer with my friends. I started making really good friends. They helped pull me out of that. I started talking to other people. Thank you, car audience, yes. And so I tried to start, putting myself out there, and I had found out from his new girlfriend that they were already sleeping together, and it hadn't been very long. And of course, at that point, I am absolutely devastated. I'm like begging this person, please, like, take me back. Like, I don't have to tell my parents. It was just a nightmare. We were toxic for each other. And of course, he didn't want anything to do with me anymore, which made me feel like essentially just like trash. Like, he just kind of threw me to the side, that I was like old news. And yeah, it was pretty crazy. And I think from there, I just started dating other people. I started exploring, experimenting and stuff because I was in high school and I was still trying to figure myself out. I have many more stories from high school in itself that I could tell you. But I guess the main takeaway here is that this took me a really long time to not only talk about publicly, but also to even really think about, because a lot of that stuff I had forgotten. I had blocked it from my memory. I guess subconsciously, it was gone. There's still a lot that I don't remember, and like I said, it's probably for the best. But yeah, that's pretty much my story. Like I said, I have no idea what this person is doing now. I don't know where they live. There's been many times where I've been worried that I'll run into them somewhere. I know in high school, there were multiple times where I did actually run into them. And I remember one time I was dating this other guy, and we were going out to eat. And I remember we pull up and I look in the window of the restaurant that we're going to, and there's this person that I dated when I was 13, and they're sitting there with some friends, family, something, and I immediately was triggered by that. I remember I knew like where they worked at, and sometimes before I got my driver's license, my dad would pick me up after school, and we would go, I almost said the name. We would go grab food at this place, and I knew that they worked there. They had worked there for a while at this place, and I remember telling my dad, like, I'm not going in there if they're in there. And he's like, oh, no, they're probably not, trying to reassure me. And I'm like, I don't care, Dad. Like, I'm not going in there. I just can't, because if they are in there, like, I can't face them. And he's like, okay. So he goes in there and he comes back out and he goes, well, you were right. I said, what? He said, they're in there. They still work there. And I was so glad that I didn't go in there, because there's no way I could have faced them and ordered from them. I mean, first of all, I probably would have had spit in my food. But I honestly, that's the least of my worries. I had a huge fear of this person for a long time, because I just feared. I mean, they failed me in all the ways that I really needed them. And let's be honest, at 13, you can't be somebody like that for someone else. I mean, you're still growing, you're still learning. And this person came from a very interesting home, to say the least. They definitely weren't supervised. I think there was other abuse going on in the home that I learned about when I was older, and it kind of clicked for me once I figured that out. But that's pretty much the story. I don't really know that I have much else to add. This looks pretty good. I think there's definitely some spots that I need to touch up and maybe kind of cut through again. I had already layered and cut this, like, I don't know, a couple months ago, but I may need to do some more layering and figuring it out, but I think it looks pretty good, considering all the stuff that it went through today. But anyway, I appreciate you listening. Like I said, please, I don't want anybody to be hurt by this. This is just something I wanted to share with you guys, because I feel like it's important to get this out here, and if it helps somebody, it helps somebody. Just really, truly think about things before you do something. And if people are pressuring you to do something, 9 times out of 10, you don't want that person around you. No. 10 times out of 10, you don't want that person around you. If somebody's pressuring you, they're not for you. They don't have your best interests at heart. And sometimes it's better to walk your own path. And don't let somebody hold so much power over you, power and control over you like that. I know that's easier said than done. Sadly, there's a lot of relationships out there where power and control is a huge thing. And I've actually worked with families and individuals that have gone through domestic violence, physical abuse, verbal, emotional, all of it. And it's sad, because it's a cycle. And excuse me, if you can't break that cycle, it just continues on. And then if you start having children and adding a family to the mix, they grow up and they witness that too. And it just becomes a pattern over and over, unless somebody breaks that cycle. So I really do hope that person is doing well. I hope that they have learned from their mistakes. I know that I probably wasn't a perfect girlfriend, partner, but I think I know that I'm really proud of myself for how far I've come. At 29, I can say that this is something that doesn't hurt me anymore. I will say there are some triggers that I still have, and I'm still continuing to work through those things. I do see a counselor, and I try to regularly work on these things within myself, and just reminding myself of my own identity, my own worth, my own value, and that it doesn't have to be defined by somebody else or some kind of situation. So Anyway, I hope you have a good day, good evening, night, whatever it is for you, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.